All right, I think we can go ahead and get started here. Thank you all for joining us today. We're continuing on with our fun week of animals. Um, Son's not here. I'm just reading your chats. So, I'm Natalie. I'm the program director at Ridgeville, for those of you that I haven't met yet. And Miss Jacy is going to lead you through some cool activities today, and Hannah's here to help us, and we're so excited to have her. If you have questions, you're welcome to type them into the webinar chat window. Y'all are totally welcome to use the chat window to talk to each other. If you feel like your question gets lost and I don't see it quick enough, you can also type it into the Q&A at the bottom of your webinar screen, and that will come directly to me, and then I will see that it's there. So if you have questions about the activity or need Jacy to repeat something, just let me know and I will pop in. I typed the materials into the top of the chat. So today you need, and I'll copy it for you. Today you need paper.
I just did.
A pen. Oh, thanks, Jacy. Paper, a pencil or a pen, a stapler, a binder clip or a binder clip, and pipe cleaners. All right. All right. And with that, I give you to Jacy.
Hey, everybody. It's so nice to see you today. I'm also so happy to have Hannah with me. Hannah, if you didn't hear already, has been a counselor and a camper and a CAT at Ridgeville for a long time. I'm really happy to have her with me today. I feel a little less lonely on the screen this way. For today, we are going to make flip books, and we are also going to make pipe cleaner animals. All right, so we are going to work on the flip books first. You need paper. What also works, if you have it, a pack of Post-it notes that haven't been used because they flip really well. You can use the corner of a notebook because that also flips really well. Note cards, like index cards, also work well, but they're kind of hard to see through. So if you choose to use the index cards, I recommend seeing if you can find a light source. Maybe you have a glass table at your house that you can put a light underneath, or an empty picture frame that you can take the back out of and shine a light through so that you can see through, and you'll see why it's important to be able to see through your papers. But these also flip really well. And the other thing that you can use is old photo paper that might not get used, because these also have that same consistency that will flip really easily. I find paper to be the easiest to start learning and to practice because you can see through the pages really well. You can take out pages, you can move them around, and then once you get a good handle on what you're doing, maybe you want to try one of the other pieces of paper that flips a little more successfully. Okay, so go, if you don't have it already, grab paper, binder clip or stapler. And if you have larger pieces of paper, you'll need a pair of scissors to cut them because they're easier to flip when they're in smaller sizes. So while we're waiting for people to grab their stuff, oh, let's see. Emily, are you better able to see the chat now? I saw that you put that in the Q&A. Make sure you get, if you have any questions or anything that you can get in touch with us. Okay, while people are gathering the materials, I have a quick guessing game. Since it's Animal Week, it's going to be another animal. This animal lives on 2 different continents. There's 2 different kinds of this animal. And they have hair. And they don't live in our Western hemisphere. They live in the Eastern hemisphere on 2 different continents. They look almost exactly the same. Oscar and Rosa, you got it, it's an elephant. It was an elephant. I learned something interesting the other day, that African elephants don't usually have tusks, or I'm sorry, the African elephants usually have tusks, but they're starting to not have tusks. The babies are starting to not have tusks because of some of the environmental changes that are happening, which I found very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna assume that everybody has their materials. So let's go ahead and get started. So Hannah, out of curiosity, what are you thinking you're gonna do your flip book about?
I'm not sure. I think I might do something with my cat because my cat is my favorite animal ever. So I might do a little story about my cat. I'm not sure yet.
Nice, nice. I have a cat for mine today too. That's a good choice. Out of curiosity, does anybody else have any other ideas they want to throw out there in case someone else still needs some ideas of what they're going to make their flip book about? While you're getting that typed in there, I'll show you my sample one. Let's see. See if you can see. All right, so I made a dog, and let's see if I can get it to flip properly this way. My dog is, it's hard to do it in front of the camera. My dog is running. I don't know how well you can see that. A little glare on the paper is not so helpful. So here's what I did. I had my separate pieces of paper, and I started out with my dog standing still. I made it really simple because one of the keys to getting your flip book to work really well is that each shape is exactly the same except for the part that you want moving. So I drew that one, and then I put this piece of paper on top of it. And I traced the body, but then when I traced the legs, I moved them just a little bit out. So if you look, these ones are perfectly straight. These ones are a little bit further out. The next one, same thing. Body's the same, legs are a little further out. Legs are a little further out, legs are all the way out. And then I brought them back in. You can see now the legs are coming closer together. So, oops, I gave you an extra one. So one of the things that I did is I actually only made 4 dogs. There's the standing dog. There's that second one, this third one, and this fourth one. And then I traced those 4 exact ones where the legs were repeatedly. I have three or 4 of each of these in this whole pack to make it go out and in and out and in. All right, let me pause before we start working on the one together. Does anybody have any questions before we go start working on our ones for now? All right, if any questions come up, go ahead and you can type those in. I'm going to use my notebook today so that I have it's a little easier to flip now that I got a little more practice over here. You can choose your own animal if you want, or I've got a really easy animal that you can follow along with. All right, so I'm gonna pull some, I'm gonna count through the pages a little bit to see. I'm gonna make the same cat on each page, but then I'm gonna do what I did before where I'm gonna repeat them a bit. All right. This is one of the easiest ways to draw a cat. Make sure you guys can get a good view here. If you start with the number 8, you see that? Here, is that easier to see without that light on? Hannah, can you see that?
Um,
Not quite?
When you hold it up, you can
There
see
we
it.
go. Okay. Let me try this way instead. Sorry, I did not anticipate that glare. So if you start with the number 8 and make the top smaller, significantly smaller than the bottom. All right, and then you're going to add on 2 triangles at the top. And then you need to decide, do you want to be looking at your cat's face or do you want to be looking at your cat from behind? So you can either draw a face on there if you want to and do a little tail out to the side. Or what I think is really fun, what I'm going to do for my book today, I'm going to pretend that my cat is looking out a window and I'm going to make the tail wag. When you're learning how to do flip books, it really makes it easiest if you only choose one part that's moving. Oh, hi, Natalie.
Hey, we had a question.
Yes.
How many little pieces of paper do we need?
It depends on how hard you want to work, first of all, because clearly the more pages, the more you're going to have to work. The more pages, the longer your movie, so to speak, would be. I recommend at least, my one over here was 15.
Okay.
So this one's 15 pages, and it's about 15 pages gave me what, like about 2-3 seconds worth of flip?
Got it.
So I recommend starting with something little so you can practice, because this takes a little bit of skill before you can get it working really well. And then you can always add on more, or the other thing you can do is after you make it like this, I can add a moving background later.
Whoa.
So that's something that you can do too.
One more quick thing, and then I'm going to disappear again. Emily wanted me to let you know, and also so you all know, when you're chatting in the chat room, at the bottom where it says to, you can change who you're sending messages to. So if you send it to all panelists and attendees, then we can all see your message. If you just want it to be me and Jacy and Hannah, then you can send it to just panelists. Or if you want to send a message to anybody privately, you're welcome to do that as well. But if you want everyone to see it, send it to all panelists and attendees. Okay? All right, bye.
Thanks for that reminder, Natalie. I did, when I reposted the materials, it did just go to us. I forgot to change it at the beginning. Yes, Emily, you could do a person with a bouncing balls. Can we do animation? Emily, do you mean, when you say animation, do you mean so that you're the old-timey animation? This is kind of what old-timey animation is. Hannah's learning about film, so she might have more information than I do. But when I was a kid and they made cartoons, they drew every single picture, or they painted it on like a cell, and they took a photo of it, and then they essentially had to make a flip book with photos, and that's how they used to make cartoons, which I think is pretty cool. Now it's all animation. It happens a lot faster. But this ends up looking like old-timey animation, the way it's kind of like, it gets a little wobbly sometimes and all that, which might be fun for a inspiration for what you're going to make. Maybe you want to do like an old-timey car. It's different than that. You know, Emily, I'm not sure. Old-timey animation with the flip book. Emily, if you can make what it is that you're talking about and then send it to Natalie, I'm not sure what you mean by old-timey animation. Thank you, because I am very curious. You always have such great ideas. Anything I can learn from you, I'm super excited about it. Thank you. Okay. So if you're gonna make a cat, this is what we're gonna start with. If there's something else you wanna make, come up with your basic shape that's gonna be the same, and then figure out which piece is gonna move. If you try to make too many things move at first, you're gonna get a little frustrated before you really develop that skill. All right, so this is gonna be my starting one, and I'm going to put another piece of paper on top, and I can still kind of see through and see that cat in there. So I'm gonna draw right on top of that line, except for the tail. All right. I've got my cat. And then I can see through right here to where the tail is, and I'm going to move it a little bit this way. All right, so it's not exactly the same as the previous picture, it's just a little bit different. See, it moves just a little bit. And then the next page goes on top. And we're going to do it again. All right. So making it go faster. I wonder, Emily, tell me this. Is your idea kind of like let me try this. You're kind of like this idea where you're like boop, 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 boop. Perfect. Oh, awesome. Yes, this is another way that you can do it. So it's just this like back and forth, kind of like a boomerang. That's a faster way to do it if you want to make a bunch of quick ones. All right, I'm curious. Is anyone doing something other than a cat with a tail? A longer, thinner piece though. Yeah, that makes sense. What else, Emily, what else are you making? And everyone else, I'm just very curious what else you guys are making, what you all are making.
I have a cat, but it's outside. I don't want to spoil it, but.
Nice. I'm excited to see. All right, hold on, I lost my cats in here. Okay. If you really want to perfect your flip book making skills, I did find a video that I posted on my Pinterest page that shows you several different ways of different things that you can do when you're making flip books. It starts off with a really simple stick figure that's just waving. So it's kind of the same idea of what we're doing now of having only one moving piece. And then he also has the bouncing ball is on there because I saw someone else, I think that was Emily that listed that, or somebody else listed that a little higher up. And then he also has an example of an alien ship coming down. And then I think it goes back up in the end of the video. Even if those are super complicated and they're too hard for you to make, they were really fun to watch. And then I also found, which I didn't put on there, but I'll put it on there later today. I found a really neat stop motion that's to the song On Top of Spaghetti that somebody made for a high school project that was also really fun with that idea of the stop motion that we'll talk a little bit more about when we move on to our stick figures, our pipe cleaner animals. All right, let's see. Of course, Arden is making a duck character. If I want you all to do a little video of your flip books and send them in. A lion chasing a gazelle, Oscar and Rosa, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
The link for my Pinterest is Miss Jacy Wildflowers. And then each week I'll have some extra videos and activities to build off of what we're doing together here to give you all some more idea. Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, Natalie. That would be an easier way to do it. Type it in there. Arden mentioned ducks. So this cat that I made out of the number 8, my mom taught me how to make that when I was really little. She also taught me how to make, you can make it either a duck or a swan out of the number 2. If you start with the number 2, you can add on a beak. And then depending on what kind of bird you're making, I'll make this one a swan with a bigger body and a big tail. Maybe it's on the water. It's an eyeball.
That's so cool. I've never seen anyone do that before.
I always felt really neat when I was a kid and I could draw cats, cats and ducks and geese and swan. You know, I don't know if you all know this, but swan are very unkind animals. I don't know if anyone has ever had an experience with a swan, but they're not nice and they look very terrifying when they're angry. I've had a couple of run-ins with some angry swans in my life. All right, so as Natalie had asked before, I recommend doing at least about 15 pages so you get, you know, a few seconds of flipping going. The more skilled you get, the more time you want to put into it. I mean, you could add color, you could add a background, you could do a video of it and add music. There's all sorts of fun things that you can do with flipbooks. You can also, if you don't want to do a picture, you can also do text and have it look like it's spelling something out. That's a fun way to do flipbooks also. And if you want a longer flipbook, but you want a little bit less work, online, you can search for pre-made flipbooks where you can print out a page and it will have different cards on there. And then you can either just add the moving piece, you can color it in, so that you can have the flipbook without quite as much work. Or if you want to take your pictures a little further and maybe you don't have the time to actually do everything.
Stop motion is so fun. I used to do it all the time. It's so easy, especially now that you have cameras on your phone. I didn't have that when I was little, but
I didn't have a phone that wasn't attached to the wall when I was little. I still have memories of getting caught in the phone cord. But you know, Hannah, that's really true. And the thing that we're really lucky for, I mean, we may be in a very interesting time in history, but we're also in a position to be able to use technology in a way that we may not have done before. And I think that this is a perfect example of being able to do like either the stop motion or, you know, taking videos of your flipbook and adding, you know, sounds and music to it. I think that it'd be a lot of fun. Yes, Arden, geese are also, I'm sorry. So Arden put in there that she once went to a pond to feed ducks, but there were geese. And if you weren't tossing the food to the geese, they would jump out of the water and get mad at you. Geese are also notorious for being very, very territorial. I once worked at a place where there was a goose who laid her eggs right by the front door of the building. And I mean, we were just essentially not allowed to use the front door of the building until that goose decided to move on because there was no getting past that goose mama. Geese are cute, especially little babies with their downy fur. Oh, they're super cute. Speaking of baby birds, has anyone been watching the falcon babies at the library? They hatched in March, I think. Middle of March, end of March. They got banded recently. So if you go to the Evanston Public Library website, they've got a live cam. And they also have a bunch of videos on there that you can watch. You can watch like right before and after the eggs hatched. You can watch the first meal that the dad brought. And my kids and I were just watching yesterday, and the baby falcons are starting to get their grown-up feathers. They're not all white and downy anymore. They're starting to get their stripes and their different markings.
That's so cool. I had no idea that was even happening.
They nest there every year. It's not the same pair that comes back, but there's always a nest there, and they track them. They work with the Field Museum to band them and track them. Some of them fly back and forth between Chicago and New York, but they've also tracked some that have flown all the way down to Ecuador and back.
Wow.
Which I think is really neat. It's the peregrine falcon. It's the fastest animal, I believe, on Earth, if I can trust my 6-year-old sources. And let's see. Air. I'm sorry, I missed this. Oscar and Rosa, I'm not sure if you have another question. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by air, but if there's something else you want to ask, put it in there. I'll answer that. Nice, isn't it? It's so cool. Fastest animal in the air. Thank you for clarifying. They're not faster than cheetahs. I thought they were, like, when they dove, I thought they were faster than cheetahs, but I'm also not an expert. Well, yeah, I mean, I just think it's super cool. I also learned yesterday that the falcons and the red-tailed hawks, they fight, but not over food. Because the falcons only eat things in the air, and the hawks only eat things on the ground. So they're like eating out of 2 different atmospheres almost. I thought that was really interesting too. They also named them. There's one that's named Esperanza, which is hope in Spanish. They named one Heki. And I forget the other 2 names, but I thought it was really cute to watch them name them and talk about that. Need a pipe cleaner. So, Zoe and Aiden, are you starting on the pipe cleaners? Let's see, cheetahs can go 65 miles an hour. Man, I could do a whole Zoom just talking about animals. I think it's fascinating. All right. I have been chatting. I know this is, Natalie just put in there that she's learning so much. This is part of why I have a hard time getting any work done at home, because anytime my kids say anything, I'm always, did you know? But you know, I love learning in the process too. Okay, for whoever is still working on their flip books, if you would like to continue working, go ahead and keep working. Do not feel like you have to move ahead with us. The pipe cleaner animals, I'm pretty sure you would be able to figure out on your own if you're still interested in that, but don't forget that this is going to be on YouTube later. And then I also on Pinterest put on some videos and such for how to make pipe cleaner animals. The ones that I put on Pinterest are more, it's more kind of like a step-by-step of how to make the different animals. I'm going to show you in a little bit more of a creative way so that you can kind of figure out what you want to do for yourself and how you can use the pipe cleaners for your purposes. Real fast before we move all the way over to the pipe cleaners, once you have your pages, if you have a binder clip, I suggest trying it out with the binder clip first. And here's a trick that I learned. Especially if you have your own cut paper, when you put the binder clip on, you want to kind of knock your pages so they all fall down to the bottom. And then you want to tip them just a little bit to the back before you put your clip on, because that's going to give you a nice little edge to do your flip. Maybe I want a little sun going up there. I'm gonna have to work some more on this later. Okay. Does anybody have any questions or comments about the flip books before we move on to pipe cleaners? All right, if any come up, feel free to put it in there. And please send us what you make. It's so hard being on this end and not being able to see what you all make. This is really genuinely one of my favorite parts of working with kids, is seeing what you all do after we give you information. So do me a favor and send those in. Okay. Because I refuse to grow up all the way, pipe cleaners are some of my favorite things. There's so much that you can do with pipe cleaners. I still have a hard time having this many pipe cleaners and not using them all myself, because these are technically not mine, they're my kids. It is Animal Week, so of course you can make lots of different things out of pipe cleaners, but we're going to focus on animals today. It's a stick figure. Humans are animals too. This one is pretty simple to make, and then I'm going to show you some different techniques of how to keep your pipe cleaners together, because that's one of the frustrating things. If you don't quite hook everything together, it falls apart, and then it can be a little frustrating. Okay, so I'm going to choose whatever color you want. Let's see, I think I'm going to make an orange person this time. You're going to need at least a couple pieces. I'm going to pull out 3 just in case. And a pair of scissors. I forgot to warn you about the scissors earlier, so if you need to go grab a pair of scissors. What I will warn you is when you cut the edge of the pipe cleaner, it gets a little sharp on the edge. So be careful so you don't poke yourself, you don't scratch yourself, and if you need to, you can always just fold that in on the end and give it a little squeeze so it's not so pokey on the end. Okay. To make our human being. You have your whole length of pipe cleaner. Not all that far from the edge, kind of halfway between the middle and the end. I'm gonna stick your 2 fingers on there and pull your pipe cleaner down in an upside down U. Once you have that, you want to kind of grab by the bottom, depending on how big you want the head, and give it a twist. All right, so when you twist it a couple times, you end up with a shape kind of like that. Wrap the short piece the rest of the way around. That's going to keep your head from falling apart, right? Because if you do it just on the edge like this and you hook this little piece in there, it's going to slip out. So if you leave a longer piece and wrap it all the way around, you can shape your head a little bit, but just to warn you, it is going to change shape a little bit as you work. One of the things that I really like a lot about pipe cleaners is it's a very, in the art world, we would say a very forgiving medium. That means if you make a mistake, you can fix it really easily. There's certain types of materials are really easy to fix mistakes, and other materials it's really difficult to fix mistakes. And that's one of the things that I think is fun about pipe cleaners, because mistakes happen a lot and it's easy to either fix them or incorporate them into your idea. All right, so we have the head on there, and then I'm gonna, at the end of the neck, I'm gonna make 1 arm. And then I'm gonna cut it about as long as I want that arm. I'm gonna save this extra piece for later because I can use that later. All right, so now I have a head, a neck, and 1 arm. So I'm gonna measure the arm I already have to make my second arm. I'm just gonna hold my thumb right there. I know that's how long that arm is, so that my person is symmetrical. If you wanna make it differently, if you wanna make one with a short arm, one with a long arm, a curly arm, you can be as creative as you want. I'm gonna be pretty simple with this one. So this is how long the arm's gonna be. I'm gonna hold it right to the other side of that arm, but above that arm. Let me hold it this way, you can see better. All right, so this is gonna go above this other arm. And I'm gonna take this long piece and I'm gonna wrap it around that arm a couple times and bring it down to make the body. All right, so once we have that, we are going to, let's see how tall I want this one. Maybe to here. I'm going to trim this. All right, so I cut this piece off of there. And I'm going to use it for the other leg. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to wrap it around the torso. To make a person. Now, from here, there's lots of stuff that you can do. You can give your person hair. So you'll take one end of the pipe cleaner, put it through the head, and twist it around in there. Hi there.
Hey, I don't know if you saw this, but Arden was asking if she doesn't have pipe cleaner, is it okay to use wire?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you. I did miss that. I got really into making my person.
I'm learning so much today. Please keep it up.
You can use wire. You can use wiki sticks. If you know what wiki sticks are, it's like they're almost like candle wicks that are coated in wax. Those will work. If you can get some help and some permission from your parents, Home Depot has a whole bunch of wire that comes in different colors. It's made for construction, but it's moldable wire with colored plastic on the outside. When I was in art school in college, I used to keep a couple rolls of that in my house at all times, and they were involved in so many of my projects. Those are really fun. So pipe cleaners, wire, jewelry wire, copper wire from like jewelry making will work. The bendable wire from Home Depot will work. The wiki sticks. If I think of anything else that would work the same way, I'll let you know. But absolutely, remember we talked about last week, we got to use what we have, especially when we're stuck at home and can't quite make it to the store the way we would before. All right, so I'm just going to weave this other pipe cleaner. I know I'm moving kind of quickly, but I want to make sure I can show you the other animals too. Just weave this kind of in and out of my character's head. Give her some red hair. I have made, you might have seen at Ridgeville, they're hanging up on the wall in the big studio. I've made tissue paper clothes for some of my stick figure people. You can make pipe cleaner clothes or fabric clothes. You can put a piece of paper in here and make a face and glue it in there so that your person has a face if you want to do that. And I also think these are really fun for making stories. Okay, so that is, those are people. Those two can be friends now. Okay. The dog and the turtle are kind of the same idea. So I'm going to show you how to make a flat body, and I'll show you how to make a round body. And once you can do a flat body and a round body, you can make pretty much any animal that you want, depending on how you want to make it. The flat one is easier, so we'll start with this one. Let's see here. Make a purple turtle this time. All right, so you have your pipe cleaner. You want to hold one end between your fingers like this, and you're going to make a coil or a spiral. So I have it in between my fingers, and the second time I go around, I'm going to go outside my thumb because I don't want it to be quite too close yet, because we're going to weave another piece in there. So once you have kind of a shape like that, you can hold it with your fingers and kind of spiral it all the way around to make a coil. Now, if you want to make something bigger than this one, you can always add on another pipe cleaner. And one of the ways that you can attach pipe cleaners so they don't come apart is if you make an X and then twist the short side up the other's long side. Did that make sense? Could you see that? Let's try that again. Make an X, and then I'm going to take this orange one and wrap it around like that. And then I'm going to take this and wrap it around on that side. And that will keep your pipe cleaners together without slipping apart. So if you want to make this longer, you could add that onto the end. Okay, so we have our coil. Let's see, hold on. I need what do they call those? A monocle. Let's see, Arden made a wire duck and it's kind of loose, so I guess he could nod his head. That's a great idea. You could make a little bobble doll with them. I didn't think about that. That's a really neat idea.
I wish I could see it.
It's hard not being able to see everybody. It really is. I miss everyone so much. I was looking forward to summer. But we got to do the best of what we got. Okay. Got our coil. So here you're going to take another piece of, leave that straight, pipe cleaner. And here, you're gonna make a little hook on one end and hook the end of the spiral and twist them together so that they stay together. Here. And then I'm gonna weave the orange piece through the purple pieces to kind of hold it together. So I'm gonna go over that first piece, under the next one. And even if it's loose, we'll pull it tighter. So see, it goes over, under, over, under, over, under. That, and then you can kind of pull it into the shape that you want it into, since it probably fell apart a little bit. It's a little easier to work in front of you instead of up like this. So I apologize, mine's a little lopsided right now. Let's see, maybe you'll see better this way. Okay, that works much better. Okay, and now you're gonna wrap it around and do the same thing back. So it was under that one. I'm gonna put it over on the way back. I'm gonna do the opposite of what I did. Kind of like finger knitting for those of you that know how to finger knit. Let's see here. Sometimes it's easier to push it through than pull it so you can get it right where you want it to be. There, over here, all the way through. All right, so you're gonna do that a few more times until you run out of pipe cleaner here. Let's see here. This one was too tight. All right. I lost my spiral a little bit because I pulled this too tight. But again, this is what I love about pipe cleaners. I can just pull it back out again to get that shape back. All right, so then once you get this one woven through, going up and down, we're gonna choose another one. Oh, that's not long enough. All right, we're gonna choose another one and we're gonna weave through this way. So we're making a crisscross pattern and that's what's gonna hold it together. I use a lot of the same colors, so it's kind of hard to see how well I wove that one. Okay, so your second pipe cleaner that's going back and forth, you wanna make sure that your third one is crossing your second one. It shouldn't be going in the same direction because it's not gonna hold it together. It should cross this way. So you can start in the same spot if you want. Hook that on the end there. And we're gonna do the same over under. I would like to share with those of you who have been at camp with me before. I just taught myself how to finger knit yesterday. And I am very proud of myself. It is not something that I have ever done before, even as a kid. I've never crocheted, I've never knitted, but I'm on a mission to make reusable water balloons. And I've discovered that if you buy baby blanket wool, that's 100% cotton, it's very absorbent. And then you can use it to make different patterns or whatever to make your water balloons. And so since I don't really know how to knit, there is a pattern that you can learn how to actually knit something that looks like a water balloon, which I think would be really cool, but that is way more difficult than I can do in my life right now. So I'm gonna try making it out of finger knitting. So hopefully I will have that done before next week and I'll show you guys what I make. Okay, whoop. Sorry, my turtle jumped ship for a second there. Okay. So here I'm working this blue one back and forth across the other ones. And as you get more practice and you get more skill, you can be more precise. You know, if you want to make it like a checkered pattern, or if you want to, you know, have it be a dark color on the outside and a light color on the inside, once you kind of get the techniques down, you can learn some new things to make it more interesting and more fun. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing here where I am weaving back and forth until I run out of this second pipe cleaner. This weaving technique you can also use for making flowers. You can use it as a base for making a fish. Anything that you would want to make out of pipe cleaners, a pipe cleaner sculpture, that you wanted it, you know, to have a flat part to it, weaving them back and forth is kind of a good way to do it. All right, so look, it all stays together. Nothing's falling off. And now I've got my turtle body. Of course, my turtle needs a head. So I took a short piece and I wrapped it around my finger, just like we did our human head earlier. And then I twisted it, except I left it open like this instead of twisting it all the way up like we did with the human. Because now I'm going to put this in my shell. Let's see, I'll put the head right here. Push that through. And then I'm going to twist this underneath in the same direction as the original twist. Otherwise, it'll come undone. And I'm going to tuck those two pieces in there. All right, so let me show you that again, just in case you missed it. We've got our piece. Wrap it around your finger, make a loop, the twist at the bottom, and we're going to leave that twist open. Once you have your open twist, slide it in and add it to your turtle. Twist on the bottom, stick it on there. If you want, you can always add little dabs of glue here and there to keep things together, or to put on the little edges of the pipe cleaners so they're not quite so pokey. All right, our turtle has a head. And you can do the legs a couple different ways. If you want to, you can slide here. Let me use a different color so you can see it better. If you want to, you can use one piece for two legs. So you're going to stick one through on one side, and then you're going to wrap it around. So if you can see that, I put that through there. You're going to take the longer end and go back through that same hole and pull it all the way through. You might have to push a little bit too. This is good fine motor practice. Work those muscles in your hands. And then this long piece can go all the way through to the other end. Pull it tight. And you can even, if you want, this is a great time to kind of curve your turtle shell. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put this back through that hole to loop it around so it stays. see if you can see that. There, so turtle's got 2 legs. And you would do the same thing with the front to add 2 legs, or your other choice is taking a smaller piece of pipe cleaner and just adding 1 leg at a time. I find the more individual pieces you add, the more likely it is that they're gonna fall off. So anytime you can keep the pipe cleaners together, I think you're a little bit better off to have more of a solid piece that can actually stand. All right, I'm gonna leave this turtle 3-legged because I see we only have about 5 minutes. I wanna show you real fast how to make the body for the dog, and then you can just add the head and the ears just like we did for the turtle. Take a pen or a pencil. Hold the pipe cleaner on one end, wrap it around so you make a coil. And then once you have the coil, you're gonna go back to the weaving. Add it on the end. There, so it's connected. And then we're going to do the same over, under, over. Hold on, I got a kink in my. It's a good reason to remember to push it, help it move by pushing it and pulling it at the same time. Because otherwise it can get like that little kink in it. And that's a little more difficult of a mistake to fix. All right, so here, over, under, over, under. Okay, and then you're gonna do this 2, maybe 3 times, and then you can pull your spiral down. Once you have a couple more pieces woven in there, it'll make your body more solid. The same way that the turtle, when we wove more pieces in there, it made it more solid and less floppy. You would do the same thing with this one. And then the same thing with the legs. You can slide it through to do 2 legs at a time, which is my recommendation. It stays together better. Or you can add 1 at a time. And then do the same thing with the head and slide the ears and the tail on that also. If you have them, you can also add pom-poms or beads, right? Like if I wanted to have a fancy turtle, I could put some beads on my turtle leg. All right, and then like I said earlier, this video is available on YouTube later. You can look at the videos that I posted up on Pinterest to get either some more ideas, or if you want to learn how to make step-by-step different animals with pipe cleaners, you can do that too. I personally am a big fan of just coming up with my own way of doing things. I think that's fun too. Hannah, did you make something out of pipe cleaners?
I did. I tried making a penguin, but that didn't work out, so I made a mouse.
Oh, that is so cute.
Really?
Oh, that is really cute.
Yeah, I tried.
Penguin. And that's, that's really something to keep in mind. If you don't want something quite this elaborate, the more stick figure-y type, that works really well too, especially if you're going to do stop motion. I think this works really well because you can have them wave, you can have them jump, do all sorts of stuff.
All right, I'm asking what you should search on YouTube to find the video.
All of the virtual summer camp things that are happening through Ridgeville are on Ridgeville's YouTube page. So if you search Ridgeville Park District on YouTube, you will get all of the videos that all 5 days of different activities and stuff. So you'll find that up there. Does any other questions or anything before we're done?
Thanks for having me, guys. This is so fun. I miss you all so much. I miss seeing all the campers' faces, and hopefully next summer I'll be able to see you guys.
Yeah, we miss you too, Hannah. If you're ever free on Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons, you're welcome to join us. Tomorrow, Wes is doing interactive camp, and Josh is going to join us. So you're welcome to join too if you're available. For the YouTube channel, you can either, like Jacy said, just go to YouTube and search for Ridgeville Park District, or if you go to our website and you look at our camp page for youth summer camps, I have a direct link on there, so it'll take you right to the video. So that might be a little bit easier for you, but yeah, you can access all of them. Cool. Y'all did some really neat things today.
This is fun.
Please take pictures. I want to see your work. I'm going to type my email down here for you right now before I shut this down. And you or a grown-up can send us some pictures of your artwork so I can share with Jacy and Hannah and with our Facebook page.
Perfect. I also just want to point out real fast too, Arda put on there that she also has made jewelry. You can make jewelry out of pipe cleaners. And I know last summer, Arden and Sloan made a lot of, they put coils on the side of their glasses, which was really fun. You just got to watch out when you put your glasses on and off and your hair doesn't get caught in there. But yeah, the jewelry is fun too.
Yay.
Ah, yes. And Emily did too. That's right.
Cool. All right, everybody. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Jacy is going to be back tomorrow morning. Her lessons are geared towards a younger age range. You're all still welcome to join. But if you prefer, you can meet us in the afternoon with Wes, or you can do both. Or maybe we'll see you back Friday, or maybe next week. But in the meantime, Ridgeville hugs. Thank you, Hannah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.